Hi everyone, for today's book review we're going to be checking out Nuclear War, a Scenario by Annie Jacobsen. This book is pure nightmare fuel and it kept me awake after having read it. It goes through, minute by minute, in clinical detail about what would happen should a nuclear missile strike Washington DC. And it just goes through it step by step. When the missile is launch has been recorded by the satellites, what steps will be taken in place to intercept it, what happens when it doesn't get intercepted and it actually strikes Washington, and after the strike, the detail that goes into the various zones of destruction. Make sure you haven't eaten anything, because it goes into plenty of detail, much of it gory, about what happens to the human body in the various areas of destruction. Some international readers who aren't as intimately familiar with the layout of Washington may find some of the description a bit hard to follow in terms of physical features and buildings beyond the icons. But anyone else who is familiar with the layout of that city will no doubt follow it through and appreciate the various distances and areas that end up getting pulverized or almost pulverized or somewhat pulverized, but the humans will end up dying anyway. And then from that point on, it goes through the basic countdown to mutually assured destruction. Who has to, turn the key? Who orders the missiles to be launched? What goes on among the various other nuclear powers and government and international government organizations to try to avoid this, but also, if we do end up in a doomsday scenario, what then happens? This is all laid out. As I said, the writing is 99% clinical and methodical, but yes, when the bombs do go off and people start dying, there's plenty of gory detail there. Yet it's all done based on scientific fact and experience of what happens to biological beings subjected to nuclear explosions. In addition to the various step-by-step breakdown towards end of life as we know it, there are various extracts about the development of nuclear submarines, the development of nuclear bombs, policies in place, that still date from the Cold War. All these little contextual tidbits that build up the picture of the psychology and the journey that has led us to this point in terms of the development, the practice, and the retention of nuclear weapons, and the policies governing how they are stored, how they are manufactured, and ultimately how they are used. This is just a scenario, but putting aside who or how or which city ends up getting destroyed, the countdown to destruction itself essentially remains the same, and that is the part that is so terrifying, because this entire system relies on the fragility of the human. You can be trained all your life, but when it comes down to it, who is the person that will turn the key or press the button that could potentially annihilate millions and even wipe out the species? Some heavy stuff to consider. There are some illustrations, some maps, which you can see up here, to complement the text, but this is a text-heavy book. This book will appeal to those who are interested in government procedures, in nuclear weapons, in the potential for the end of life as we know it, and for those who even just want to read and appreciate just how powerful and deadly nuclear weapons are. And if this book doesn't terrify you or keep you up awake at night, what you can do is you can treat yourself to a double bill of movies, and you can watch Threads and The Day After. And I'm pretty sure a combination of those two movies plus this book will absolutely keep you up at night for a very long time. So, for those who are interested in nuclear war, I could not recommend this highly enough. 5 Captain's Hats for Nuclear War, a Scenario by Annie Jacobsen.